It's now time.
I'm so excited.
Oh no!
I actually love you, but bye.
Oh, it's so wrong.
I gotta go. I got something to do. Not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now, but.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Survivor Now podcast. It is so good to be back. We just witnessed the premiere of Survivor 49, and we are here on the Survivor 49 after show to break it all down, but I can't do it alone. So joining me tonight, directly below me, my good friend Josh. Josh, how's your summer been?
Oh, it's been really good. Really good summer. Nice Survivor off season. Yeah, I was like, I had like lost track of time for a second. I'm like, wait, it was summer, right? Because it just seemed like so long in the Survivor off season. But no, it's been good. It's been good. Got to travel a little bit. Got to have some family come in from out of town. But it's really nice to be back. Feels like everything's right in the world when you survive.
And Josh has done incredible work this offseason on our Patreon. So go check out the revisits over there. Josh,
Yes.
Thank you for doing those.
They were super fun. Super fun. Tori and I got to break down 4 different seasons, kind of with some people who are going to be on Survivor 50, going as early as All-Stars, as late as Cook Islands. It was a really fun time. So definitely go check it out.
Yeah, and we still got one more to release, so definitely check that out, guys. And then we have Bruce from 45, 46, I guess, over here. Bruce, how are you doing, brother?
From what? From 44, 45, not 45, 46. I know you're a little rusty. It's all right. Maybe Abraham puts you up to because he wants to talk his smack through you, but whatever. What's going on, people? I'm definitely having a great time. I'm very happy. I'm excited. I said it in multiple chats today that this is my Christmas. This is my Christmas morning as a 12-year-old kid waking up all excited to do what's going on tonight. First thing I said when I woke up was Survivor Wednesday. Let's go.
And I'm happy to have you back to break all this down, but we had to bring another Survivor player as well, and Abraham's taking the night off for good reason, because the elephant in the room is we have an amazing guest from season 43, and I actually got the season right this time. It is Morriah Young. Morriah, you're back. Hello.
Hello, I'm back. I'm so excited to be back. I'm excited to be here. I'm very pumped.
And we were so excited to have you back on to recap season 49, a season that Jeff Probst himself has been saying is going to be an insane, chaotic, dare I say, colorful season. Like, I just had to throw that out there. The Rainbow Queen herself is here. So I want to throw this out before we get started and really break down everything that happened. If you are watching from home, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. If you love our podcast, let all your friends know, hey, you got to listen to these guys break down the premiere right now. So go ahead, share the link and all that. You can also join us. We want to hear from you guys. Join our Ancient Voices live chat so we can interact with you guys throughout this entire breakdown. People are already in the chat. My brother is here saying, yo, I'm first. Abraham, great to see the crew back in the house. Abraham joined me for the pre-show. And then Zan's cat cameo. If she's always going to bring her cat. This is just a gift.
Well, no. I don't even know if it's as much as me bringing my cat rather than my cat wanting to be here. I'm pretty sure my cat is a Survivor fan at this point.
Yeah, I remember last time we saw your cat too, middle of the stream. So like, she's just a fan of the podcast, fan of Survivor. Yep. But I just want to throw this question out there before we really dive into this episode. Josh, I'll start with you first. What did you think of the premiere? Because I have my thoughts. I'll share it here in a minute, but I want to get your guys' thoughts first. What did you think overall?
I thought it was pretty fun. It's always really cool to see, like, I listen to a lot of the pre-show content. So I like listen to the interviews, kind of get a vibe of like what people's personalities are and some of the answers they have to questions. But actually getting to watch them interact with each other and see their dynamic on screen play out in confessionals is always the most fun part, because it's like you're getting to know 18 people for the first time. And there's definitely a lot of people who are standing out to me already as people I could see myself rooting for, or I'm excited to see how their stories shake out. So that's always fun for me.
Bruce, Morriah, how did you guys feel seeing? I know every time a season premieres, it's got to be like being right back on the island. Like you see similar beaches or the same beaches and similar spots on the beach. So what did you guys think about this premiere episode?
Oh, it's such a good episode. I don't even know, Bruce, if you could put the word to it. I don't know what the word is to it, but it's like you see them smile, and when you see the like new castaways hit the sand and you see their reaction and then they start smiling and everything, you literally start smiling. And then there's this like overwhelming feeling of nostalgia. Then you like get sad because you miss it. But then you get excited watching them play the game. It's like a wave of emotions every time I'm watching the first episode because it's like taking you back. You feel like you're right there with them. You love seeing them play. You miss playing. It's like, I don't even know what the heck that is called, but that's what I'm experiencing. It's like a good time, but like a roller coaster you can't get off of.
Maybe it's a phrase and not a word. It's called FOMO. I am listening out. Someone's like, I'm sitting there. When they started showing everything, I'm like pointing. I'm like sitting there. I was there. I've seen that. Oh my God, is that Exile Island? What is that? Like you start going through all these places that you've seen, and you're back there in that spot. Like I ain't gonna lie, like I literally sat there when it first came on, and Jeff's standing there talking. I'm feeling this thing bubbling up in my chest a little bit. The back of my eyes are getting a little wetter than normal. I just feel it's one of those things that'll never gonna go away. And I even told my wife, I'm like, if I'm 65 years old and the show is still on television, which it should be, I'm gonna feel the same exact way. Like there's something about being out there. Like I could answer your question. Could you smell the sand? Like I could smell the sand. Could
smell the sand, could like feel the sand. Like you just remember all the tiny sensations. I remember the feeling of like seeing Jeff for the first time, looking at the sky, seeing how vast and how blue it was. And what really did it for me was the opening challenge was also my season's opening challenge. The only thing that they changed was instead of having to use the hook, the grappling hook to get the key, it was a bell. So I was like, oh my gosh, that puzzle. Those boxes were so heavy.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was like, how we always hear Jeff Probst say, "Oh, those boxes are heavy," but
they're heavy.
I hear countless times over and over again, like you will never understand how heavy they actually are until you're on the island trying to like pick those up.
Because even in person, it looks like when you lift it, it's going to feel like a piece of cardboard. It's going to be like foam. And then when you go to initially lift it, it's like the adrenaline is making you lift it. So it looks like it's easy. But then like right after, you're like, whoa, that was like heavier than I thought.
Yeah. And I want to share with you guys, I love the challenges first with this premiere episode. And we're going to get to it. But all three challenges for me personally, I really enjoyed them. And I like the different dynamics of running through the jungle and you have to go out and get this. Like the marooning challenge itself, I love the aspect of two of you guys got to run into the jungle. Two of you guys got to swim. We're using the elements where it's like, you got to know how to swim. You got to know, you got to be familiar with the jungle. You got to do a puzzle. They are incorporating all these different aspects of what a Survivor challenge should be. I love that. There was a puzzle with the second challenge that we saw where it was Rizzo versus Alex. But for the most part, it was go get coconuts. Then you got to, map it out, find it. Like we're going to get to that as well. I just thought there was a lot of things that this episode did right. And personally, if I'm peeling back the curtain a little bit, I just had a conversation with my family the other day. They asked me, they said, "Hey, are you excited Survivor's back?" And I said, I'm not as like excited as I've been in the past. And I'm getting to it, Bruce. And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But the moment Survivor came on my screen tonight, I kid you not, I was rushing to make dinner, sat down on my couch. And the moment it came on, it's like all of that poof gone. And I was like a little kid again on the edge of my couch being like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And like instantly it was like summer's gone. Survivor fall is here.
I expected so much more from you. You should have this expected from the time you woke
We're definitely judging you on the inside.
No, hell with the inside. I'm judging on the outside. On the outside.
I don't know what it is. I guess my mind was just shut off from Survivor. But we do it to get to talking to the episode. Let's see what people are saying in the comments right now. Ultimate, welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you before. I like a nice calm before the storm as long as we set up for fireworks in the future. I think Ultimate is talking about how it was kind of a straightforward vote at the end of the day, and we'll definitely get to what led to the end of Nicole's game. Abraham is still in the chat. They have real weight talking about the boxes. I believe so. And then Jay says, I felt the same way preseason, Randy, but once it started, I got into it. That's what makes Survivor great, is like once you hear the music or a little bit of the score in the background, if they don't do the intro, you're like, okay, I'm on the island. Let's go. Let's do this. So
Randy, let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
So you watch television just like I do and just like everybody else here. When you saw the commercials that came on talking about Survivor, new episode of Survivor coming out, blah, blah, blah. Did you get a little like, oh?
There was inkling, but it took the full show to just immediately let's go, let's get back to work. Yeah,
okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Bruce was like, just checking, just making sure.
He was about to log off. He was like, all right, if Randy's checked out, I'm checked out. No, I was definitely like so happy to see it back on. But let's go ahead and talk about the marooning. We have a classic marooning here. I don't know. I don't want to start off on a negative, and I don't know if you guys are going to see this as a negative, but we got to talk about, and this is the only time I'm bringing Survivor 50 up this entire podcast, but there was a clear Survivor 50 montage at the very beginning when Jeff was welcoming the castaways and saying this is going to be the journey of a lifetime. We got quick little sneak peeks of like all these Survivor legends that are going to be returning. So my question to you guys, do we think with how the edit went, is that going to be just a one-off thing? Or do we think throughout the season where Jeff says up to 50, it's going to be a year-long celebration? Are we going to have these little moments throughout the season that you think they're kind of plugging 50? Bruce, I'll go to you first on that.
I hope that this was it. That was just enough. That was just enough for me to be able to say, okay, because I want to make sure that there's a differentiation between 49 and 50. I don't want them to blend it together. We already know that two people from this season, and we'll decide if it's deserved or not, but two people from this season will be going to season 50. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. 50's coming. We know that. Let's get through 49. So with this doing that, I appreciate it. And actually, when I saw it going through, I'm like, oh, snap. Like, okay, all right. They're showing 50. All right, that's cool. And then that's it. I don't want to hear about that because we already know what these people have already done. That are on 50. We now just need to be able to see how they're going to mold the new people in to A, the Survivor family, and B, whoever those two contestants are going to be. Show us what they're doing to be able to deserve to go there. So that's my thought.
Josh, I know we've been very vocal on this podcast about it's not really fair for people from Survivor 49 to have to deal with constant 50 talk. Like we need to focus on the season at hand. But I did have to bring it up. What did you think seeing this like short little montage?
Yeah, first I was like, wait, are they exclusively just showing people who are on season 50? But no, they showed Boston Rob and Tony and Parvati. But it was a lot of like folks who are going to be on season 50. Yeah, I think that even though they didn't explicitly say, "Oh, we have season 50 coming up," and blah blah blah, it was the people who they chose. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, if you know, where you know what they're getting at here with the people who they're trying to hype up. So yeah, like Bruce said, I mean, I really hope they don't like make that a big thing. I really hope that the 49 cast can like have their own moment because I know that they all are feeling that already. But if you raise a good point, though, about how Jeff said that this is going to be a celebration of all of Survivor. So I wonder if they're going to do various things that harken back to old seasons and like are as a celebration of that. And, with people on this cast are all like varying levels of fans. So I don't know. I feel like if I were to go on Survivor as a fan and something in my story they would use to like harken back to an older season, especially if it was like a season or a contestant that I really like, I think I would appreciate that and not like trying to rush ahead to the next, as opposed to like trying to rush ahead to the next thing, which is season 50. So if they are leaning into the whole year-long celebration thing, I hope it's more of the, harkening back to old seasons and not as much, just like brushing past this and going to 50.
Morriah, I have to get your opinions on the whole Survivor 50. I mean, they just threw it out there. When I saw that, and great call out, Josh, where you're like, well, they did have Boston Rob, Tony Parr, but that was at the very beginning, and then it started to hit that like, oh, Chrissy, Ozzy, Coach, like all these people are on 50. Yeah, Suri. Well, what do you think about this, Morriah?
I don't know. I genuinely didn't get the season 50 vibe. I kind of felt like it was like a great opener, kind of like a montage of like, these are people who changed the game. And maybe it's just because I purposefully went into this looking at it as like, this is season 49. I didn't go into it thinking like they were dropping like sprinkles for season 50, because I just feel like where the love for season 50 is already there. Everybody's already going to go hard and go gung-ho for season 50. I want to make sure that everybody from season 49 is getting their flowers. So when I just saw it, I was like, okay, this is just like a montage, like paying tribute to people who've paved paths for the people who are here now. So I don't know if that was their intention, but that's not how I took it.
That's what I want my mindset to be. I wish I went in like, obviously 50's in the back of my mind, but I think it was Ollie told me, he's like, when you're doing the coverage for 49, keep it at 49. So I swear the rest of the podcast, Scout's honor, I will not bring up 50 anymore. Let's talk about just kind of skip ahead a little bit here. We talked about Hina actually won the Marooning Challenge, which I love, because all preseason, I feel like everyone was saying that Hina looked like the disaster tribe and was going to be the tribe that goes to the first tribal council. They had some success here. They won both challenges. So next thing we heard is Jeff said, someone needs to go on a journey to, you guys are going to face off. One of you guys is going to win supplies for your tribe. The other goes home with nothing. And we got to talk about this challenge between Rizzo and Alex, because I felt the pain for Alex. Tori couldn't make the pre-show tonight because she's at Alex's watch party in Chicago. And she was saying that everyone was booing Rizzo. And yeah, everyone booed Rizzo because it's Alex's friends. Like, it's his personal party that he's having. And I just felt kudos to Alex for still throwing a party, but that was a tough watch. My only complaint about it is I didn't like how the edit was, because I knew Rizzo was going to come back.
Totally. They totally telegraphed that.
I felt like it would have been more entertaining if you just let it play out. Like, it would have been insane seeing Rizzo make this huge comeback, but it was very obvious with how the narration was going. But yeah, just an insane challenge. Morriah, I'll go to you first on this one to share your thoughts. It was insane. I'm like shook, because like Rizzo is like my first of all favorite. Like, he's like my favorite right now. He's just such a sweetheart. I love when he said, I want to hug myself, but that would be weird. I wanted to say, you certainly can hug yourself. It was running back and forth to the puzzle for me. That is really what did it, like taking it piece by piece and then still struggling to put it together and not realizing that he was like missing a whole coconut to open it up. It was very comical. But I thought it was just, it just showed me like who he is as a person. I think he's just really hilarious and totally himself. I also definitely felt the comeback, but I feel like that just comes with watching Survivor season after season. You kind of just learn how the editors edit. And so I feel like I just kind of also, from the beginning, I don't, it's almost, sometimes it fails. And I feel like it goes back to people who are not true Survivor fans, who always ask the question is like, is Survivor scripted and is it fake? Because it's like, you clearly have like these two contrasting castaways, battling. And so it kind of feels like, okay, the underdog is going to be the one to win in the end. And so before the challenge even got started, I kind of had a feeling Rizzo was going to win. But the way that they edited it definitely, early on, I knew that he was going to come out on top. But I thought it was hilarious. That part was really funny to watch. But I love Rizzo. I don't know. Rizzo's getting a lot of hate. That's surprising to me. Bruce, it looked like you had something to say. I have to go to you next, man.
I just got a message from a famous podcaster that said he cheated.
Was that famous podcaster Abraham? Because he
yes, sir.
Yeah, Abraham was
he's saying giving hints in the comments too.
Trash if you couldn't get the puzzle yourself.
What does Jeff say? Look next door.
Survivor famously, like, there's so many times they give you opportunities to like cover up your puzzle afterward. Not they didn't this time, but like the implication of that is like that it's fair game to like go and look at the other puzzles, and that's happened like a number of times.
Tear it up, like that was my thing. And Abraham and I were texting about this, and he's like, "You can't tear it up because you need the X." But I'm like,
you need to go back and look.
At that point, you have to know the area. Like he's looking at
I think he wasn't digging deep enough. That seemed to be the problem.
That's what I thought.
He was digging outward, but not down.
Yeah,
I think
that's what it looked like.
For someone that is dug on Survivor looking for something, okay, you need to make that circumference huge. Like, move Earth. You got to get it out the way. There was one point in time, like, he was just digging in one spot straight down. You're not getting anything out of that. You need to like just move stuff out of the way as much as humanly possible. Plus, with the puzzle pieces, you knew that it was between those two logs. Like, you could see it between the two logs. So, there's the two logs. Cool. Rizzo, throw the puzzle pieces at him. Just mess up the whole damn thing.
That's
and then
what
go
I
back
was.
and just stay in your
Yes.
spot.
And I thought it was funny how, like, when Rizzo was trying to go over there and he was looking at it, I thought that's what he was going to do because he covered his puzzle up. So I'm like, okay, he's conscious now. Like, he knows. And at that point, Rizzo still didn't have the puzzle. You guys are making, like, honestly, amazing points because I thought the exact same thing about it. Didn't look like he was digging deep enough. It looked like he was more so just spreading the sand. Even when Rizzo went and Rizzo was saying, I know I got to dig with my head and my legs and my hands.
He was using his shoulder. That's when he got it.
He was moving Earth. He was moving Earth.
Yeah, he went deep in the sand, and I'm like, even at the very end, I'm like, I still never saw a hole big enough that, like, or deep enough, you get what I'm saying, that Alex was ever going to find that ship wheel. I mean, kudos to Rizzo because he looked down and out. My family texted me during the show, and my brother said, "You are literally Rizzo, Randy. Like, if you ever go on the show, that is you." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not." And he's like, "Oh, your mom agrees." And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now? I'm bad at puzzles." So it might be me. Obviously with the premiere episode, we have a lot of moments and we could sit here all day and go through every single moment and interaction. It's a lot of people connecting, but I want to ask you guys, and then we can kind of branch off of that. What connection or what moment really stuck out to you? Who stuck out to you in this episode that you're keeping your eye on early on? Josh, I'll go to you first here.
Okay, so I'm getting a little ahead since it's for the tribe that lost, but Sophie B from the Blue Tribe, she has stuck out to me as someone who really impressed me a lot. She was one of my pre-show favorites, but she really impressed me this episode with, I think she's like really funny and engaging in her confessionals. I think she's got a really good, like, on-screen presence, but also I think that in a tribe where there's two guys who are just kind of broing out right away, two like stronger guys. And it ultimately came down to like which one of the two, like, quote unquote, like weaker players is going first. Like, she found her way to be like wedged in there, like with those strong guys, and is in, a seemingly tight 3 with them where she has options. And I don't know. I think it's really cool that, like, while the other people who were maybe not as like physically strong as Jake and Alex were, on the outs, but she found her way in with them. And it seemed like pretty deliberate, and she said that from the jump, and she made it work. So I don't know. I was really impressed with that.
No, I thought one thing about Sophie that really stuck out to me in this episode is her confidence. There's something about her in the confessional she gives, how she walks around camp. And yes, you could say, well, that's just any player. I don't know. There's something about Sophie that just makes me feel like she's very confident. She went out there knowing what she wanted. She talked about how she wanted a meat shield right away. And she's like, look, we got Jake right here. He is the meat shields of all meat shields. There's no one else on this island who is as big as this dude. So she already knows her strategy. She played it perfectly, Josh, as you said, instantly getting in between the two guys. We've seen a lot of times that one bad downside to a men's alliance or a bromance is like they can just focus solely on that. And they're like, hey, let's just guys get up because we got to watch out for the girls or whatever. And it didn't seem like they were doing that, but it was still impressive that Sophie was able just to get right in between Alex and Jake like it's nothing. And my brother texted me at one point saying Jake is running the Blue Tribe, and I almost texted him back and I said Jake might be running it now, but I think Sophie's in a really good position moving forward, and she's confident as well. Bruce, Morriah, I don't know if there's anything you want to add on Sophie here.
I think that Jake is the face, but Sophie's running it. Like, I feel like she's running it without them knowing it. She kind of is like right now pulling the strings, and they don't know that she's pulling it just yet, because I feel like they're doing all the things that she wants them to do. But she's like allowing them to like make their own choices. So I feel like she's kind of like right now she might not be like the puppet master, but she's like definitely like doing things behind the scenes to like move things in the direction that she wants. Because there was even the moment where she was talking about, I forget what she said, but she said like, if you say I'm your number one, I get jealous. Like, and she started making moves right after that too. So I feel like she's very conscious. She's very aware. And she's like making sure that they are staying where she wants them to be.
And I feel like you don't want to be the face of an alliance anyways. And in that sense, and that's why the meat strategy works out so well, is because at the end of the day, if that alliance really starts gaining some steam and someone wants to take a shot at them, I don't feel like Sophie's going to be the person that they're looking at. I feel like it's going to be that bigger person of Jake or an Alex that's going to get that target instead of Sophie. So like, I think she's playing it perfect right now, early game. Bruce, anything to add on her or Josh?
I don't think she doesn't have. Allow me to push back a little bit.
Oh,
I don't think she really has. She has a choice, obviously, but now she doesn't have a choice because the bromance is the bromance. Like those two are going to be thick as thieves. So all they would have to do is just pull one more person over, and she's gone if she wants to defect. You know what I'm saying? So she's gonna. It's early enough in the game where yes, she's gonna sit there and say, "Yep, you guys do what you want to do." But she helps to facilitate what they want to do. But keep your mental notes. She keeps her mental notes, and then she can go back and say, I had this bromance and I, had them do what I wanted them to do. But at this point in time, this early in the game, she's just like, yep, whatever you guys want to do. Who else you want to bring in? Oh, fine. Bring that person. Like, we'll make it all happen. Like, that's what you want to do? Fine. This way we'll go. It's too early in the game to really start showing her cards. And the reason why I say that is we take a look at season 44, and because I know when Maddie was voted out first. She was voted out first because she bucked the system, and Matthew was with Brandon,
right?
Brandon, yeah. So unbeknownst to her. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Once you buck the system this early in the game, just say goodbye. You have to build up a little bit more rapport, a little bit more something. And I think she's doing it right at this point in time. But for her to say that she was jealous of listen, Morriah, correct me if I'm wrong. You see somebody else walk out talking to somebody else, you're gonna get a little jelly. Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
Walk away and go talk to them.
I agree with you, but I do feel like she's moving in the right direction because I can't remember when she said it. I can't remember if it was like her opening confessional. I can't remember when she said it, but she was also the one who was like, I want to be everyone's friends. So she's also keeping her like options open and still talking to multiple people, even if it's like one-off touch points. So I think that she did a really good job of like pulling them off to the side and like solidifying like that they're like a three. But I think she also did a good job of like not closing herself off, and she's still talking to other people. So if she wanted to, and I think it's still too early in the game for her to do this, but if she wanted to, because she already made those other connections and she's keeping her options open, she could easily put a target on them. And who was it that she was talking to? I think she already said something about the bromance.
Annie said something. Yeah.
Planted the seed. She planted the seed. So if she wanted to bring it up again and make it a bigger deal and put a target on them, she could do it. But I definitely think it's too early for her to like start blowing it up.
I feel like in the early stages, I mean, Morriah, you nailed it, that she's like keeping her options open. And I feel like in early stages like this, like options are everything. Like you need, especially if you're a player like Sophie, who maybe isn't necessarily going to have that, like all those muscles to like bank on and like get you through things. Like you need to have multiple paths. And if they were to swing against, Alex and Jake, she would be the one to kind of like either veto that or make it happen. So I think she's set herself up really well. And yeah, I definitely think that feeling like a number 3, with that duo is like, it's an understandable impulse. But in these new era tribes, even these like quote unquote disaster tribes, like they don't let them get less than 3 people. So basically she just needs to be like, okay, if this tribe gets whittled down to 3 people and I'm one of them, like it's going to be okay. And especially, if they go to a swap or a merge or whatever, everyone's going to be looking at those 2 guys before they look at her. So I think she's in a really, really good spot going forward.
Someone
Frank,
go ahead,
Bruce.
Swap, it was really sorry. Someone said tribe swap today. When they will, bring it down to 3. No, it's not a tribe swap. I'm sorry, merge is tribe swap. Yeah. So when that happens, who knows? You might not get lucky enough to keep 3 of you together. You could very well get scattered between all 3 tribes, and now you're just dead in the water until you can either A, get together, or B, go into Ponderosa.
My good friend Frank adds in the chat, but she's closer to Annie and Jeremiah than they are. I think talking about the bromance and where Sophie lines up in that, I want to push back a little bit. I don't know how close she is to Annie, especially with the preview that we got for next week. And I think with how the vote ended up playing out, where Annie was the backup, Nicole was the person they targeted, I think it made it very clear that she's rolling with that 4 moving forward. I would almost say that if it comes down to it and the 4 do have to go against each other, I think she's got Jeremiah possibly in her back pocket. So it'd be Jeremiah and Sophie against Alex and Jake is, I think, at the end of the day, how that would play out.
I agree with the Jeremiah thing too, especially because when they were even walking and she was like, we need to tell each other like everything. Like they had that little moment. So I think if anything, she's closer with him than with Annie too.
I love that we just talked about the Kaylee tribe, and we're going to get back to them when we talk about Nicole's elimination. But the person that I wanted to shout out actually takes us to the Henna tribe. And I've been very vocal in saying I'm super happy that they kind of proved everyone wrong. I don't know what you guys have been hearing preseason, but I heard that the yellow tribe was going to be the disaster tribe. And that's what everyone was
biased because of the color.
It's always the yellow tribe.
Yeah. Sorry to bring up a sore subject.
Yellow tribe.
But no, honestly, in all of these new era seasons that had a yellow tribe, like the yellow tribe went to tribal council first. So yeah, Morriah was a victim. Abraham was a victim. Like, yeah. And it was
Abraham did it to himself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But
no comment. But this was the first time the yellow tribe broke the streak. They won.
Yeah,
yes.
They dominated this episode.
Yes, yellow tribe.
But I want to shout out someone who, I'll admit, on the pre-show, I said if the yellow tribe does go to tribal council, I think they'll be the first one out. And I don't think that was going to be the case. I was super impressed with Matt this episode. I believe I got his name right. Sorry, I'm still learning everybody's names as well. Yeah, I was super impressed with Matt. And let me tell you why. One, with Bruce, don't get mad when I say this. With older men on the show, it is such a common thing to take leadership and become that like, oh, this guy's taking control. He's definitely the dad of the group. We saw that same thing happen with Nate. And Nate, it was just unlucky. He was the oldest guy on the tribe. So I was worried about Matt. I'm like, I don't know if Matt is going to... Yes, Bruce?
It's all a crock of shit. I'm going to tell you that right now, okay? The editing is the editing
Uncle
is the
Bruce?
editing, okay? You know that Matt was talking and stuff, saying, oh, let's do this, let's do that. He was doing because that's what's needed, okay? But if you think it's not,
I don't know, because that's
wrong.
That's what Steven in his confession. Steven even said, I could tell Matt is behind us. And he wants to say something so bad, and he's not. And I was impressed that Matt was willing to let them go without fire just to not be that like person who's like, yo, we got to get this shit done. Like, let me move out of the way.
Brando broke our Flint, okay? Because I sat back and I didn't do anything. I sat there. I'm like, you guys want to do the fire? Feel free. Brando broke the Flint, okay? Jake was trying to light the fire as well. I sat back, just like Matt's doing. Sat back. And again, the editing's going to say, I couldn't see that Matt was sitting there and he was just chomping at the bit to want to get in there. Of course he was, because he knows he can do it and get it done. But you know what? We, as adults and grown-ass men on this show, look at this and we say, okay, we want you guys to succeed as well. We don't want to put all our cards out there. But the other thing also is we want to be comfortable. I want to boil water. I want to get little crabs cooked. I want to cook coconut, do the popcorn coconut that everybody's talking about for years and years. So we want to, yes, we're standing there holding on to the wall like, come on, let's go get it. When Jake said to me, Bruce, want to try it? I'm like, yup, give it a flip. Like, allow it to happen. So that's probably what happened. I'm sorry. I got to defend my
not only
over
that,
45-year-old man on the show.
I'm not only excited to watch Matt play the rest of the season just because the edit showed us that he sat back and he got fire going and all that. I think he's made a really good connection with Steven, which I think could be a really strong connection in this game. And a connection that I wasn't expecting going into this preseason when I looked at the cast and I was trying to see, oh, this person's probably going to work with this person. This person's probably going to work with this. I would have never guessed that. And I think if the Henna tribe did go to tribal council, I don't think that Matt was going to be the one on the chopping block. I don't really know who would have been on the chopping block.
Did we really get a sense of like who was like in and out on that tribe? I don't know if we did.
Who was the? Oh my god! Was it Christina who was the bird phobias?
Yes.
Yes.
I love her. But
Me too.
The only thing that made me feel like she might have been a target is because of like all the like elemental stuff that she was like afraid of. But the only thing that makes me think that she wouldn't is because she said that she was holding all that stuff inside. So I'm like, if she's making it known that she has like a fear of this and a fear of that, then maybe she would become an easy target if the tribe picked up on that. But I don't know how like outwardly she expressed it versus how much she was open about it in her confessionals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while we're talking about Christina, I just want to say she was another one that stood out to me. Like, I think her energy is infectious. She's so fun.
Yeah.
She just like lights up the screen, and I hope she goes as far as she can. And I think for a player like her, who maybe is a little less, like Morriah said, like less comfortable with the elements and all that, I think it's really good that she's on a winning tribe, especially in those first couple episodes, that she can like gain her footing and people see that she can hack it, she can be okay, and they're not going to be like see her as like an easy first boot. So I think it's like really good for her that her tribe like won this first challenge.
And props to her for going out on Survivor with her fear. Being scared of birds has to be one of the most difficult fears to live with, because you see birds every day. So props to her. And that's the exact same thing that I texted my family tonight and my friends as well, is that as soon as I saw her on screen, I'm like, oh, I love this lady. I'm absolutely in love with her energy. Like you said, Josh, absolutely infectious. I was like, I can already tell I'm going to connect and love Christina all season. Morriah, I want to go to you. Who stuck out to you? I know Josh and I have said our standouts. Who do you want to talk more about a little bit?
So Nate actually really stuck out to me, and it probably is a little bit of a bias just because I love when he did the Captain America. You don't want two Captain Americas on a tribe. You want a Captain America and Iron Man. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I love you more because now you're talking about Marvel and superheroes. But so it's probably a little bit of that. But then also, I'm like, no, but he's also was making like a valid strategy, because I think it is really easy, especially on day one, especially being on Survivor. I feel like when you step onto the sand, you are looking for people who you like automatically click with. You're looking for people who are kind of like similar to you. You're looking for people who you're going to vibe with. And I feel like he kind of went in and did the opposite. He's like, I'm actually looking for people who are different from me because they're going to bring something different to our alliance. And I never even thought of it that way. And I thought that was a really smart strategy. And I also think it's a really great way to go into the game thinking about the long game, because I feel like when we often see those alliances where people are similar, they're really cliquey and really strong in the beginning, but then once they get to the merge, they kind of start to bump heads and divide. And so I think for the long game, that's a really good plan for him. And then he's also just super like conscious and aware. Like he knows that he kind of is getting the feeling that he's on the outs. He's aware that he's the older guy. He knows that he has to begin to make those connections. And when I think he started talking to Savannah. I thought the way he did it was just so natural and really smart. And so I really like him. I have high hopes for him. I think he's gonna definitely.
I love that connection with Savannah too. Going into the season, I've got my eye on Savannah for a couple of reasons. And I think everyone knows right now that she is my winner pick. But I really like the connection that he made with her. I think that's another one that could be interesting. I think it'd be one that a lot of people wouldn't expect. Obviously, right now with that tribe, the big thing was with the connections, you kind of have Savannah. The girls are kind of bonding together on that tribe, where you have Shannon and Savannah who are like this. And I thought it was interesting around that time as well. Savannah was talking about, who do I go with? Who do we, I'm going to be leaning on Shannon. Who do we bring in to complete our 4? Around that time, Jawan got frustrated with the fire, and she was like, okay, that makes me lean closer to Nate. And it's a story that I'm going to be watching moving forward. But I agree. I think Nate, the way he looked at it, again, being an older guy, it could be really easy to go out there when everyone's so much younger than you and not be able to connect. But the way that he didn't panic at all, and he just sat back and he's like, I'm not a fool. I know I'm the oldest guy here. I'm going to take my time. He just seemed so composed in the way he talked during confessionals to be like, I'm going to go out there exactly what you said, Morriah. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to find the people that are different. I'm going to find people who bring something to the table. He immediately set his 4 and he's like, I'm good. And honestly, Nate I think he'd be a really good ally for Shannon and Savannah moving forward if they decide to keep him in. And I think he's a smart guy. And I instantly was like, I feel like Nate could easily make the merge now. Like after this episode, that's how I felt. I was like, I feel like he'll be in a really good position. Bruce, anyone you want to talk about, or did we cover your personal already?
You covered my personal, which was Nate. I completely agree with you. And the good thing about it with Nate at this point in time is that he's very self-aware as to what's going on. He knows that he's older. He has the conversation about it. He even said, I believe at one point in time, he's like, oh no, it's like they called me the dad, and he's getting the dad vibes, which, I think the stigma is in our own minds in regards to that. And then it kind of gets reiterated a little bit with contestants at the beginning when they know your age. But then when I was watching, what I watched is I'm a physical player. I love the physical part of the game. And I watched him while he was performing during the physical parts of this game. And he did what I expected. He's not going to be overpowering with everybody. He's definitely not weak. You can see that he's physically fit. And the thing is that I want and need him to be able to show what a strong black dad is going to do out there, and how he's going to be able to get along with everyone and be able to show that he can go far in this game without an adversary. I don't think he's going to have an adversary. I think he's going to be able to click in, and he's not going to rub people the wrong way. I really don't think he has that in him. He's so mellow from what we've seen so far. But I want him to go far in this game just because he has that mellow personality. He's not overplaying anything. Not look at me spotlight kind of guy. So I'm looking forward to Nate doing this.
Yeah,
this might be controversial to say. I don't know. People have strong opinions, but I feel like he has the potential to be a coaster. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think being a coaster is a strategy if you're doing it on purpose. And so I feel like because he's so mellow, he honestly could just sit back and get himself to the merge without like blowing up his spot and get a little bit further. But I know some people really hate coasters. Some people don't like when people fly under the radar. But I feel like it's a difference between like, and maybe I'm using the wrong terminology. Maybe flying under the radar is a strategy. Being a coaster is not. So I think he has the potential to fly underneath the radar if he wants to, and make it to the merge.
As I mentioned, I was watching him while he, during the challenges, and he was in charge. He was in the middle string, and he's kind of giving the commands back and forth. Go back and watch, because you see him turn his head, and he said something. It didn't catch up on the audio. So it just reminds me of, yes, that 40-something-year-old, very competitive man that's going to sit there. He's going to take a leadership role. He's going to do his thing, but he's going to be very intense during these challenges. But probably let them know prior to, which I have the background in doing this. I am intense when I do these challenges. I want us to win. I want us to be able to keep us all here. So when he turned his head and he was saying something that didn't have the audio in, I was like, he is going to be mellow in camp. He is going to want to make people smile, laugh, whatever, get to know people this and the other. But when it comes down to perform, is that the thing that's going to rub them the wrong way? So I'm very interested to see what kind of comes out of that with Nate.
I think Nate. I think that the word that Morriah said about him flying under the radar, I think could work out really well for him, because he is on a try with like some bigger personalities. Because like obviously Rizzo is like a lot. He's a big personality. And then you got Sage and Shannon who are kind of doing the hippy dippy, like I'm kind of out there kind of thing. Yeah. And and Jawan, like at least seemingly in the beginning, his like nervous energy is like kind of taking up a lot of space. So I think that mellow personality like works really well in his tribe. And I think, I don't know. I'm really excited for him. I realized I'm in three drafts with like different groups of friends, and I picked Nate in all three of my drafts. So like I believe in him, and I am rooting for him to go far because he seems like a lot of fun.
There was cool.
There was a lot of like funny moments throughout this episode. You had Jawan immediately geeking out as soon as he heard that Nate had any connection with Marvel. He just went like he was like over the moon, like excited. And then you had with Sage.
He called himself on that too, by the way. He called himself on that. I don't know why I reacted that much.
You just heard I worked on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, and then he just lost it.
Lost his mind. I probably would have done the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, I was obsessed with that movie growing up.
Sage is a character, a wild character, because right off the bat, Jeff asks her a question. She goes, "Oh no." And then she immediately talks about how she's nervous peeing on her way over. That's the first impression that she leaves. Later on in the episode, she talks about, "I like poop. Let me know if anyone needs to take an aqua dump." Or like it was just fun. There was a lot of funny moments, but my favorite moment in particular that made no sense whatsoever. Jake, I love you, man, but he's stealing people's left shoes. And he said, I'm going to keep this going just for entertainment purposes. And now I'm going to have my eye on that for the rest of the season, because the first person that he stole their shoe was Nicole, and now Nicole is out the door. So if the next person's shoe that he steals is like Annie, and Annie's the next to go, it's going to turn into this conspiracy that whoever's shoe gets stolen, they're the next one out.
Can we talk about Jake? I have some concerns about Jake. I don't know my thought. Okay, I like Jake so far. I don't dislike anyone yet. I like Jake so far. No, I probably won't dislike anybody unless they piss me off. But anyhow, I really like Jake. But he is revealing a lot, and it's making me so nervous. And I'm not going to hold you. I did the exact same thing, which who knows, might have contributed to me being voted out first. It didn't make my edit for my season, but revealing so much as soon as you hit the sand, like And the stories are very beautiful, but I feel like people immediately go, "Oh, he's a winner. He's a winner. Like, we got to get him out of here," because he had the really touching story, like, about his dad wanting to make his dad proud, and allowing his dad to be able to see him like one more time. And then he also had the touching story about like his wife. And so I'm like, these are like beautiful stories. There's nothing wrong with that. And yes, it's building connections and it's bonding with your team. But I feel like at some point, people's red flag are going to go up because they're going to be looking at it as like, this is like his final tribal like speech. Yeah. Like, he's taking the bag home.
Can I just piggyback on that? That was one of the things that I said to my wife tonight. Like, this is not the first season. This is multiple seasons in a row where people that have not won the game have sat there and said their entire, final speech. Remember back in the day when it was like you would sit there and you would just play your ass off because at night you would go up and you stare at the stars and you talk to yourself and you'd be like, okay, this is my motivation, and blah blah blah. None of these people need to know it. I still got to figure out how I'm gonna say it to them at the end. And then they get to the end and they tell you, and people are like, what? He did what? Oh my God. I'm not like lying because you're
it's like the Jeremy season. It's like Jeremy's winning season when he was in Final Tribal Council and he's like, I got a baby on the way, pay me my million, and everybody was sitting there gobsmacked, like, but it's like now we know everyone's story, and it's like it's making people who could potentially be the winner and really take it get voted out super soon.
Revealing those two huge bombshells on day one was like quite the choice. Like, I get that, maybe you want to say some of that, like, but you would share personal information to bond with other people. But I don't know. Those are like two huge things. And I feel like maybe one of them you sit on for a little bit, Like that one.
Just say one of them in the back pocket.
Sophie's saying that she liked poop. Like, you know what? That is a bonding moment as well. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. It's a bonding moment. It's making you laugh to something else. So now let's just say Sophie gets to the end and she's in the final three and she's like, I had an intussusception. I don't know if you guys know what that is, where I couldn't poop. It's basically when you're small, I believe it's when your small intestine goes inside your large intestine. Then you got to get it like a balloon and they got to pop it back out. Like, it is what it is. But if you start, like, if you give that story at the end, but you say I like poop at the beginning, you're still having the same thing, but you're less, you have less of the ability to be a mental threat for someone that's going to win the game. Just like, oh, Cookie, she likes poop.
He could have
got it at the end.
He could have definitely saved the stories where on the flip side of that, you have Steven who kind of had to tackle his situation head on when people are looking at his hearing aids and stuff and saying, yo, I don't want to get that perception right away that, so he flat out just said, hey, this is what's going on. So there's different ways that you could play the game, but I think you guys are spot on with the sense of you have these two very emotional moments, one about your dad, one about a child on the way. And I agree. Save one of those. Use one of them to form a connection. Not saying that like that's all it should be is to make it a connection. No, like those are genuine emotional stuff happening in his life, which I can't even imagine when he was out there playing how much weight was on his shoulders. Can't even put myself in that position. But it would have been nice to, maybe you've already shared your dad. Keep that baby on the way for the very end. Just to be like, yo, I've got a kid. I need the support. Now we got to get to the immunity challenge and what led to the first elimination of the season. We're going to take a very quick 1-minute break, and we will be right back to break down how this episode ended.
Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. No, not them. I'm talking straight to you. Are you interested in even more Survivor content? Make sure to check out Survivor Now's Patreon page. We've got some incredible stuff going on over there, like an exclusive interview with the Dragon Slayer, Coach. Can you believe it? As well as many seasons that we revisit, so much bonus content, and there's 2 tiers to choose from. Either be a faithful member for $3 a month, or be a legend for $5 a month. There's also a 1-week free trial for the legend tier if you're interested. So what are you waiting for? Go to the link in the description below and join our Patreon today. I better see you there. All right, let's go back to the show.
new mascot Buff is there to tell you all about our Patreon. You can check it out. The link is in the description below. I love that little guy. So I'm not lying.
He's fire. What's up?
What'd you say, Bruce?
He's fire. What's up? Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I love Buff. So go join Buff over there and interact with our Patreon. We've got some good stuff coming up in the future. Josh, your guys' latest revisit was, I'm trying to remember the season right now. Was it
Cook Islands?
I was going to say Cook Islands or Panama, and I didn't want to mess them. So thank you for
Cook Islands.
Yeah, Cook Islands. That will be uploaded by next week for sure. Probably by the end of this week, it'll be uploaded. So make sure to go over there, check that out. So guys, we have to talk about the immunity challenge, which again, another challenge that I loved. Like I really enjoyed this one. I don't know what it is. It's something about the large plush animals that you have to move. Like we had the gecko a few seasons ago, and now here's the snakes again. I really liked the fact that everyone had to go out and get a snake and you had to bring it back. Loved the puzzle. Absolutely loved how you had to work together. It was kind of a different take on the snake ball puzzle that we've always had in the past. And I like this one and how they built it and everything. I'm trying to get my words out. But what ends up happening, Henna wins. The red tribe comes second, meaning that Kaylee is heading back, or not back. They're heading to tribal council. This was, I don't know how much we can really talk about this. It was a pretty straightforward vote at the end, all things considered. I think what really shocked me about this is Nicole was talking about if she got an inkling of, someone's lying or she's a target, she's going to play her shot in the dark. And I thought it was going to be guaranteed when they were talking about the 2 week when Jeremiah brought up, we're down to 2 people. It's about keeping the tribe strong. I thought surely that is a layup. You have to know, and this is nothing against Nicole, but like, I'm putting myself in the shoes. I'm not a very strong guy. I'm not. I'm not good at puzzles. If I ever go on Survivor, challenges are not going to be my strong suit. And you got to kind of just have the self-awareness to look around at your tribe members. And if they're saying the 2 weakest, there's only 6 of you. And you got to think, even if you don't think you're the bottom 2 weakest, you're like, am I bottom 3? And am I even in that conversation? They're not talking about Jake. They're probably not talking about Alex. It's sad to say, but at the end of the day, they're the 2 biggest guys on the tribe. They're probably not talking about them. That leaves Jeremiah, you, Annie, and Sophie. Well, Sophie's a young girl who usually doesn't get portrayed as, a weak link right away. So then you're down to Jeremiah, you, and Annie. Surely at that point, you're like, I got to play my shot in the dark and just try it. So that's what shocked me at the end of the day. And again, not saying anything about Nicole. She was obviously seen as a threat on the puzzles. I'm just saying, if they're saying we're down to 2 people, the 2 weakest members of the tribe, you got to have that realization to be like, is it me? Are they talking about me right now? That's what shocked me. Morriah's ready to cook me. I could see the entire time. She was doing the mat. Like, I don't.
Coming from someone who was voted out first, who may or may have not been also portrayed as the weakest, who may or may not have played her shot in the dark, definitely did. And from my perspective, because like what I always think about is the way like I played it is really hard, especially on day 1, to decipher what is truth and what is paranoia. And so when you're first meeting everyone and you're creating all these bonds and you only have known these people for a short amount of time, you don't want to go into it already with distrust, right? So I feel like she may have just leaned on the side of, okay, let me go with what I was told and trust in the connections that I've built and do that, because I feel like it's just so hard in the moment to really be like it. And I think everything on day 1, day 2 is the emotions are so heightened as well, because it's like it's a brand new experience, it's a shared experience. So you're really building these connections with these people, but it feels like you've known them forever. It's really even hard to get into the mindset of like, okay, we're playing the game. It's so early. I feel like once the merge happens, you're in the mindset of like, okay, now we're playing the game. You don't really, the wheels haven't really started turning yet. So you're not as self-aware as you're going to be, you know, like day 10 or like even merge meal. You're not in game mode yet. It's very first tribal. So I just feel like she may have overlooked it because I even had, and then I also did this thing. I don't even think I've ever like shared this, but I also did this thing where I had thoughts, but I didn't always speak them out loud because like I didn't want to get myself into paranoia mode. But like I remember people not making eye contact with me too. Like that is something that always like haunts me. But I just was like, I pushed it in the back of my head. I was like, that's paranoia. Ignore it. And so I feel like she might have been doing a little bit of that too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I can't even imagine how hard it must be, like, to try to decipher that, like, what's paranoia and what's just like what's actually true when with those social reads, because obviously, you know, it's already worst case scenario that you lost the first challenge, and like, you know, the threat that you have like a 1 in 6 chance of being the first person to go is just really hard no matter what. And then you, especially when you haven't gone to tribal council and you haven't, you know, you don't know what it feels like to survive a vote. You don't know what it feels like to be like, I don't know, to calibrate that sense, I guess, of like what is paranoia and what's not. So yeah, to learn that the first time with like so little margin for error on such a small tribe, like that's just a really, really tough spot to be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with John, actually both of you. It's just, you get to that point, you don't know anybody, and you're basically got 2 days to figure out if someone's going to be lying to you or not going to be lying to you. And then once those 2 days are up, obviously you make the tribal council, and you know, you're already feeling some kind of way about it, and everyone thinks that they're going to have the spidey sense, to be able to go back into all this and say, okay, yeah, I know exactly when someone's going to be lying to me. No, you're not. You don't have any clue whatsoever. And Morriah, when you said, you know, the game doesn't really start till after the merge feast, I fully agree with that, because the way that I looked at it, and Matt even said it today, why are we thinking about voting someone so early in the game? Why are we talking about voting someone off? Like, why are we having that conversation? That's how myself as an old head thought about it. Like, there's no need to be strategic right now. We're not even close to losing anything. And when we do get to that point, now let's have a conversation, but build your blocks before you get there. So, sometimes I would like to see players just take a breath and just enjoy the experience and do what it's geared to be, which is a social experiment. With it being a social experiment, you don't want to get to know everybody. You want to know what's going on. You want to, you know, how many kids, you know, do you have if you're a parent? You know, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Aunts, uncles? Like, I want to know all that stuff. Like, what are you doing on the weekends? Like, I want to know all these things. And if you want to go and talk about something else, it's perfectly fine. But if I do my job properly, I want to know who you are and what your favorite food is, you know, and if you like astrology or not. Like, I want to know all these things about you and get to know as much as I can within the first couple of days. Don't go to tribal, which the other tribes didn't do. They didn't go to tribal, so now they have more time to be able to build that up. Then they're going to get the swap at some point in time. Once the swap happens, now you're going to kind of build it back up a little bit, but you still know you have that over there with some of the other people that aren't on your tribe any longer. Get back together, merge feast. Y'all, not everybody, but you know, you have your whatever. You all get your new buffs. Everybody starts talking. Factions come back together, and then, oh, I brought this person in because I got a chance to speak and get to know them over 2 days. So now it's a whole different dynamic now, and looking at it and saying, okay, now you get to know these people better. It's after the merge. Now you can know who to trust. And you know what's really it just came to my mind? Future Survivor players. I'm going to pull that out of Abraham's book. Don't be afraid to ask someone if you're annoying them. Like, think about that. If you just ask them, like, "Yo, did I piss you off or something?" Or like, "What did I do to, like, are we good?" Like, then you should be able to hopefully gauge how they've been interacting with you prior to, and then at the point of that question, because now you're putting them on the spot, and now they're going to be able to say, "Okay, this is exactly how I feel," And if they're lying to you, you're gonna know. You're gonna know at that point, especially if you spend 6 days with them. So just food for thought.
I agree with that. The other thing is so much that you said, Bruce, that I really agree with. But two things come to my mind. The first thing brings me back to something I said on my season, which was like this version of Survivor moves so much faster. And some people took that as shade, and it really wasn't shade, but I feel like I would have done so much better and like old school Survivor. And I feel like there's like two different versions of Survivor and two different players. There's like old school Survivor players and like new school Survivor players, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like back in the day, like I'm thinking like pre-30 seasons, even like pre-20 seasons, before we started dividing tribes into 3 and tribes were just like split in 2, there was this very long stretch where it was literally just about your social game. Yes. It was because it was so many people on a tribe. You had to get to know everyone. You had to really develop relationships. You really had to build a community and learn how to live together. And the game was so much slower because the tribes were so big. Only one tribe went to tribal council, and it was very obvious who were like the bottom 3. It was very obvious who was like the bottom 2. So even if your tribe lost 2 times in a row, it was still a very long game, because then the next time you went it was just very long. Where now it's like the tribes are so small and so short, nobody's really going in just like based off a social game. You have to like go in and already be ready to be figuring out who you're deceiving. Like, well, we already saw.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I was just
adding. No, you're good. Hop in, because I was going to keep going.
No, I want to hear, because I know you had 2 points. I just wanted to piggyback off of that and say another thing. Someone brought this up today. I can't remember if it was X or if someone messaged me. But one of the whole factors about Survivor that makes it really cool is the game is supposed to keep you on your toes, and you always have to adapt to the game. And it almost feels like there's a blueprint now to the game. We get on the beach. There's 6 people. I need an alliance of 4 right away. So whereas if you have a tribe of 9 people, you have different groups. Sometimes you have different groups forming. You've got a 3 and a 4, and then you have 2. Or maybe there's 6 people right away. Okay, we have 6. That's the road we want to go down. Or maybe it's a disaster tribe where no one's getting along. We've seen those in the past where you have like one person you're connecting to, but the tribe's just a complete mess and everyone's all over the place. Whereas I feel like now, and you guys can push back if you totally disagree, but like I feel like you get there and it's like, okay, step 1, meet people. Step 2, find 3 people that I don't know, but they kind of look like people I would work with, so I feel good about them on day 1. And step 3, now we have this 4-person alliance. We're good to go. Like, I just feel like it's really, with how fast-paced the game is now, it's like cut, copy, paste each season with the strategy. Not saying we don't get some incredible moments. Like, we know we got the Genevieve moment with Kashawn pre-merge, which was really cool. We still get good moments, but ultimately what I'm saying is up until merge, it's like just find 3 other people. You're set, you're done. And then there's nothing else really. There's no strategy at that point. It's just riding the wave until we get to Mergatory.
Josh, I know you're about to say something awesome, but I just want to say something really quick. I'm praying to God that season 50 they go back to the 99. I really am. Because they need a reset. They need a reboot, because who are they casting this? They're casting Survivor fans that are, super fans. They know every single aspect of the game from season 1 to now. Throw them a monkey wrench, okay? Because even the people that are going, there's a lot of new era people that are going to be playing in 50. Throw them a monkey wrench. Give them 9. Give them 9. See what happens. We'll see where it falls out.
I'm totally with you. I think that it gives, I know that Jeff always says like, oh yeah, there's nowhere to hide, which coincidentally is, that's the philosophy at the beginning of the game, but not at the end of the game when, there's plenty of room to hide when you only have to make it past the final 5 vote, but that's a different story. But the thing that is kind of frustrating, both I know as a player, as I'm hearing you guys say and watching them play, but also as a viewer, is that there's like no room. There's like, like I want to see people have more options and more I don't know, just more room to like flex their skills as a player. And you can do that in really small tribes, but so much of the time it's like really arbitrary, like how these things fall. I feel really bad for Nicole. I mean, I think Nicole seemed like a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching her in this episode, and I don't know, I was rooting for her to go farther. She said, listed in her hobbies preseason that like one of her hobbies is going to Phillies games. And I'm like, oh yeah, love that. love that for us. And yeah, so like we want, and it's like sucks that she's like, she's not like a big, like strong, muscly bro, like, Jake and Alex are. And then when that's like those two guys get together and then that determines everything, like, I don't know. It's like, okay, those two guys are together and they want to keep the tribe strong. So that doesn't really give her like a ton of options on a tribe of only 6 people. Yeah, it's tough. I totally agree with you, Bruce, that I think that throwing him a wrench and having him play in tribes of 9, like there's that would make people like show off a totally different set of skills than what we've been seeing for the last 10 seasons.
There's a difference between a strong tribe and a tribe that just is somewhat organized. Like you have to have clear, like, what can you do? What can you do? This is what I can do. Mm-hmm. Once the tribes can figure that out, yeah, obviously someone's going to lose. It is what it is, but there's no landslides at that point in time. Yeah, like, figure out your strengths and things like that.
What it is too, going back to Josh's points, I agree with everything you said too. But what I'm noticing with the smaller tribes, what it is it makes it more. I don't want to say it's no room for a recovery, but it's really hard to recover once minds are made up, because the tribes are so small and the game moves so fast that once people have like their core 3 or their core 4, it's no way around it. We've seen it in the past too, where people are like working their hardest, really trying to scheme, and everybody's just like follow them around or ignore them, isolate them, or tell them they're safe. It's like the same gameplay over and over that makes it hard for people on the bottom to like, they could be really good strategists, but people are just unmoving, not going to move because it's like the game is moving too fast and the tribes are too small. Whereas though, if it's tribes of 9, there's so many cracks you can slide into, and so much more room for explosions to happen.
Yeah, you have 4 people that are sitting there chilling, hanging out there. They're thinking they're going to run the game. Well, if there's 9, guess what? There's still 5 other people that are there. So now there's 3. Oh, wait a minute. There's 2 people that can be swayed whichever way. So now you can run the gamut if you're good. Going back to what you were saying, Josh, if you have great skills in speaking to people and having them, negotiate what it is that they want to have done. So now you can then turn around, you can grab those 2 other people and have your 3. Now you flip the table completely. And then the ones that walk around like, the peacocks that are saying, we got this. Now they're on the bottom and it's like, okay, got you. Mm-hmm. And this is what I did. So not to talk about resume, but that would be a great thing to go on a resume because you're able to bring in more people. Now there's only 6, you're dead in the water. Once there's 3 solidified, okay, they pull one over. It's all it takes is 1, because again, someone of that 3 has now the confidence in knowing that I got 2 other people with me. I just got to bring one more person in, and now you can go and you can basically talk as much shit that you want to that person you're gonna bring over, and then they come over with you. So now it's 4 on the 2, and you're done. Like that's it. So,
well, the fear can drive it as well, because we even saw an example of that in this episode. I can't remember quite who said it. It was either Jeremiah or Sophie when they were talking about, I'd rather go Annie than Nicole, but the tribe has their mind made up. It's going to be Nicole. And at that point, you can't go against it because once again, there's this copy and paste of you got to be in the 4. You don't want to be in the minority because it's such a small tribe and there is such little room to navigate that you can't piss anyone off. So in that instance, even if I was in the 4, this is our 4 alliance, and I'm like, everyone's saying Nicole, I don't want Nicole at all. I'd rather go Annie. I'm not going to push back on that, because if I push back, I could easily, okay, you want to go Annie? Well, let me tell you, we'll go get Nicole, and then you and Annie can be on the bottom together. Let's see if you really want to go. So that fear, it makes it even, it gives you even less room to operate.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I have the 4. Here's the 4 who could take me to the merge. I have it. Why would I go against the 4? So Nicole at that point can't really go to anyone and try to save her spot because you're basically asking them to ditch a majority that's going to get them to merge, to take a risk to save your game when they've known you for 3 days. They barely know you. At that point, you're just dead in the water.
Yeah, and the faster pace, it is what it is. Like it is what it is. I don't think that's going to change. But like the small tribes, though, I think like the combination of the faster pace and small tribes incentivizes like what we're saying here, where it's like more conservative, scared gameplay. When if we were to have people like we said, like it gives more room for gameplay if they were beyond bigger tribes, and ultimately that's what we're all here for. Like that is what us fans and players, that is what we're here for. So I don't know. We're preaching to the choir here, but
we can go all night with this. We will say we're very sad to see Nicole go because
so sad.
I think Nicole had a lot of energy that they brought to the game. Bruce, are you going to say you weren't sad or something?
Hell no, I'm never sad when somebody's voted up first. Abraham. Just kidding. I want to give a shout out to my boy Jeff. Because there is a sense of kinder, gentler survivor. There is. And you don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't really want to piss anybody off. I know that those survivor players that are out there right now, they're knowing that there's going to be some backlash in regards to what they say. Somebody's going to get offended by it, whatever. I gotcha. But during tribal council, everybody's like, hee hee, haha, haha, great. And Jeff was like, kids, I'm about to bring a little temperature down a little bit. And he just basically put the kibosh on that by saying, but yet we are going to have to vote someone out. And then they talked about the ship, with the hole in the ship. And they're like, oh, that's more than a hole. Ha, 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 ha. And Jeff was like, that is going to be your game, essentially, paraphrasing, if you don't get your shit together and understand that you're playing a game now and you got to vote somebody out. So let's get back to business and let's talk about why we're voting someone out and a little bit more of that. A little bit more of that will, and it's day one. This is a premiere episode, but a little bit more of that is going to get these players, I think, to start making different decisions. You know what I'm saying? Different decisions. Like Jeff can talk his junk during the tribals. During the challenges while they're doing it. But give them a little dose of reality at the beginning beforehand, and give them the dose of reality afterwards, and then give them the dose of reality while you're sitting there in tribal. Like, let these players know, remind them, especially this early in the game. Everybody wants to be kumbaya. Remind them that this is a definite problem that's about to happen, which is the luxury and the beauty of this game, is that you're about to vote somebody out that you're buddy with. Get it over and done with. Like go reel it in, find out why we're here, vote the person out, weak, strong, annoying, whatever, get them the hell out of there, and then move on and go from there. Know that it's a game that you're playing.
We love Sassy Jeff at the end of the day. Really quick before, I love it. Like I want Sassy Jeff to make a return. I will say before we start kind of wrapping up the podcast here, did anyone find it interesting? No advantages, no beware advantages, no idols, not even mention of one this entire episode.
I did catch that at the end. Yeah, like that there was no mention, no like people looking for it, no nothing.
I for sure thought there was going to be one in the marooning challenge when they ran to get the boxes. I was like, a letter is going to be tied to the boxes. I was like waiting for it. I was shook. And then I thought there was going to maybe be one when they went on the journey and Rizzo and they were doing the puzzle with the coconut challenge. I thought twice there was going to be some type of
a golden coconut or something, like hide it in a gold coconut. Yeah. So I was shocked at that. And then I do have to ask you guys as well, any predictions on what takes place next week, where Jeff in the preview was like, this is is it a swap? Is it just like a idol out in the open? Like any predictions?
Somebody's going to do a backflip and he's like, this has never happened with Survivor.
I definitely managing my expectations on that one. I think
it's going to be something lighthearted. Yes. I think it's going to just be like a joke or a song, something cutesy. Which I'm not even.
The preview for
you guys
next
were
week.
no fun over here.
The preview for next week was kind of felt like a whole lot of nothing. Like, oh yeah, you're an alliance.
I don't know.
You're
There
in
was that
trouble.
argument.
I'm in
Who was
charge.
arguing? There was a tribe arguing? Was it Kilo who was arguing? Yeah.
What color is
They
that?
were arguing. The blue tribe, weren't they arguing in the preview?
Yeah, probably.
So
Yeah.
something's gonna happen.
Josh,
Yeah.
you turned your mind off for the.
No, I watched it, but I was like, this told us nothing, you know? Like, and even when they do tell you something, it is often misleading, but this one really, it told us nothing.
I can't even judge. Everyone knows, if you've been a longtime listener of the podcast, the only fake fan thing about me and Survivor is when Tribal Council happens, my mind is like off. When they're just like talking in Tribal Council, I'm like, let's just get to the vote. Unless it's like a live tribal and something crazy is happening, I always just shut my mind off. Like I couldn't tell you a single thing that was said in tonight's Tribal Council. I just got to
two things. One, I believe that there was probably some idle talk when Annie went off by herself, and they were kind of touch base on that, but they kept it out at the end. So thank you for that. Two, season 50. Okay, and I know we talked about we're not going to talk about season 50. Season 50's tribals, tune in. Because second-time players tend to talk more shit during tribals. It's just clear-cut and concise.
You're more confident, yeah.
You're more at ease. You're more at ease to be able to say whatever's on your mind. Like, all these newbies are out there right now, and they don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't rub anybody the wrong way. They don't want to be at the marooning and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. They don't want to, when they show up, you know, for the next community challenge or reward challenge, and they see that, you know, someone's voted off, nobody over there is going to be like, oh my God, well, yeah, cool, completely expected it, like, with their own reasons. They're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But in second time, you know, around second play season, they're gonna say what's on their mind. Like, you know, if Riz God goes away, like his confidence was way too high for me. Not to say that I'm saying that about him now. I'm just saying like that is something that they will say open mic wise because they don't really care because they're second time playing. So they're all the nice is going to continue on for a little bit longer in the sand until the merge. And once the merge happens, then it's like, okay, like I got when travel rolls around, they're going to be fireworks. But I can't wait for season 50 for the fireworks.
We're in for a great season now with Survivor 49 with Jeff Probst saying that the heat's going to come into play. Apparently it was like the hottest season, one of the hottest seasons they've ever done. He says it has an unexpected ending kind of towards the end. It gets very exciting. So we've got all season to look forward to how this all plays out. Really quick, before we say our goodbyes, I do want to let you guys know what we have coming up. We have a full schedule for you guys on Survivor Now. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Avery, it can't actually make it this week, so it's going to be Kara and Tori. They will be joined by Survivor 47 castaway Gabe Ortiz. Or did I say his name right? Ortiz? Yeah, I think I did. Gabe will be here to break down the premiere with the ladies. On Friday, we got Survivor Stockwatch, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Will and Josh are going to be joined by Survivor 42 castaway Mike Turner. And then on Saturday, if you haven't heard, this is the last time I'm probably going to say it, but Matthew is going to take a season off after his busy schedule with Survivor Australia versus the world. So Ollie and Phil are going to run Got Something For You this season. And at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, they will be joined by the legend herself, Amy Cusack, will be on the podcast.
That's a good get.
That's a great
really good get.
So
can I say something real quick? Ladies and gentlemen that are watching, please do me a favor. We here at Survivor Now have done a ton of work to get some of our most favorite, you know, castaways that have played this game on our show. Yes, like Morriah, like right there, like this woman down here. We have done a ton of work, and we're going to keep bringing you people that are going to make you smile. They're going to make you think a little bit differently about Survivor and just fall deeper in love with it. So, Randy, I'm going to take the steam a little bit. I'm facing right there. You are.
Do it.
Share this content. Like this content, subscribe to the content. Like what we're putting out there is above and beyond. If you were watching our Australian Survivor, you know, Australia versus the world, it was amazing. We had great turnout because we gave great content. We did beautiful things. We're going to do beautiful things with Survivor US. We're going to make it all happen. So hit the button, share it to all your friends, talk about it tomorrow when you're at work, do all the stuff you got to do, get us on top of the board. That's what's up.
That was, I couldn't say, I love that Bruce took over because he's like, I know that was perfect. That was a wonderful endorsement too from a former Survivor player. So first off, thank you so much, Bruce. And yes, I will say with the Survivor Australia versus the World coverage, we had a great time covering that. We had some amazing exit interviews. Just if I can geek out for one quick second, I know we've gone later, but just getting Parvati Shallow on this podcast and Tony Vlachos and Sari Fields, King George, like all of these incredible people. Ollie and Matthew did a terrific job. You can catch all those interviews. My mind is shutting off. It's been a long day. You can catch all those interviews on YouTube, on SurvivorNowPodcast.com. The latest one we did was with Sari. So definitely go check that out. It was just a complete honor to get those Survivor legends on the podcast and getting people like Morriah and Bruce to come on and help out. Morriah, thank you so much for being here once again. It is a blessing to have you back. You know you're always welcome to return. Thank you so much.
It's always a fun time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff.
Listen to the girl.
Yeah.
Listen
to the expert. Morriah, you are welcome back anytime. Talk about someone with electric energy. It's Morriah right here. Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. They said it best. Make sure, hit that subscribe button, share this. If you're listening on Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating. It greatly helps the show out. And we will catch you guys later this week for more action. And then this group will catch you next Wednesday for more Survivor 49. See you next time, guys.